Yeah, it's when you look at the hype and what's real. I mean, what's reality is, to me, SDN is just another acronym, is another term. And talking to a bunch of the carriers or even some of the enterprise users, the best way for me to define SDN would be by defining them by use cases. So there's a lot of different use cases that are associated with out there without the terms of OpenFlow or SDN, and these opportunities on how do you reduce the cost, whether it's CapEx or OpEx. So you need to think of, does it save money for me or does it make money for me from that perspective, right? So I think that's kind of the things that's kind of changing in the market right now. Yeah, I think it was actually surprising, to be honest with you, because if you look at what Nuage is trying to do from the concept of virtualizing the network, the key thing that I always hear when I talk to whether it's enterprise CTOs or even service provider is scalability. So when you look at some of these controllers, you know, the whole aspects is like, yeah, I see OpenFlow now. OpenFlow can end up being the next big thing, but the number one question they always challenge me with is scalability of the network. Because of the inherent nature of where Nuage comes from, you already know how to build scalable networks. So this whole federated concept of controller, I think, is something that's been missing in the industry. The concept of virtualization is going to happen in that space, and I think there is a key advantage because they come from a routing, switching background, and that's the area that's being impacted the most. And if anything, they're able to identify what the gaps and the possibilities of the market and be able to address the scalability, automation, and the orchestration of the network. The problem that a lot of people make is they just focus on the controller and the data plane, and it's a lot more than that. I mean, you need to look at the whole life cycle of that application throughout the network. Yeah, I mean, when we look at the networking market, it's been stagnant for a while. I mean, it's been dumb plumbing. Even though we talk about layer 3, it was still dumb plumbing pipes and moving traffic along, but it's actually revitalized the whole experience, not just from a networking perspective, but the whole idea of opportunities, because it's really the first opportunity of tying the application to the network. It used to be when I used to run data centers and build some of these networks that I thought I was it because, you know, you ran these really critical networks, but I usually was in the third or fourth phone call because it was usually always an application that drove or some services. So this opportunity was SDN is kind of marrying the two together, and there's a lot of investment opportunity because there's going to be a lot more innovation and much better ways to run the networks. I mean, the reason I got out of this space was because I got tired of those 4 a.m. wake-up calls on Sunday morning with the network being down and then having very little visibility and then applications pointing at the network. So I think the marriage between the two is something that's been needed for a very, very long time.